All right. Hi, guys. It's our last day of this week for the second week of distance learning. And so today we're going to do our tests and go over all of our things that we do at the end of the week. And so if you're looking at this page, these are the things that need to be returned back to me today. So I do need the daily assignment checkoff sheet, our math for today assessment, and our simple and compound sentences test. And then also you'll need to make sure you finished all your ReadWorks and your spelling test in Spelling City for list 24. All right, so let's go through. There's our list of things we have to do. And if you'll notice, the stars here are the things that I need to have returned back. So our morning work, we are going to do a morning work page today. In our language, it says, "Dear Katsu, thanks for inviting me to visit you in Japan. Maybe I will be able to travel there one day. I have always wanted to go there with my family. Write again soon, please. Sincerely, Cole." There are some places where commas need to be added in there to separate. So as you're reading through it, see where you think a comma should go to make it make the most sense. We do have in the closing and in the greeting where you might need to be considering where you would put in a comma. All right. And then for our math, Jen had a lemonade stand. On Friday, she sold 16 cups of lemonade. On Saturday, she sold 12 cups. On Sunday, she sold 8 cups. How many cups of lemonade did Jen sell in all? So you're going to be trying to figure out all of them put together. And that would be your answer here. All right, so it says look at the picture, then answer the questions. We've got this picture here, got a bird, a nest, some dice, some game pieces, some numbers. How do you win at this board game? Describe what the numbers and words on the board mean. So you're going to be including any words you see and the numbers that you see. You also see some other little things, arrows, and then the parts here. So write directions on how you believe you play this game. Alrighty. We also have a math lesson since it is Thursday. So I'm going to go do our math lesson at the end so that I can go over your test papers real quick. Scroll past there. Okay, so see there's a star here. That means that one needs to be emailed back to me. Mom and Dad can take a picture or scan it, either one. Make sure your name is on it. So I circled that. And then we're going to go over this assessment. And remember, you can have your math for today paper that we did our daily day 1, 2, 3, and 4 with you to help you with your test. You can also pause this test as we're going so that you can just do one problem at a time. And you can also go back and listen to it over and over if you need to. So we're doing a lot more with fractions now at this point in the year. So we have this wheel, and it has been separated into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces. Write the fraction of the following shape. So we need to know there's 8 pieces and how many of them are shaded in. And write your fraction for that. Okay, so we had this in our daily work. I believe it was on day 2. So we've got these 2 squares and they're broken up into 6 pieces. So each one has 6 available pieces. So that's our denominator. But how many pieces could you take? So if you're going to eat every single one of these, if these were brownies, if you were going to eat every single one, how many brownies could you get? And that's going to be your answer up here. All right. So in this one, we're going to write greater than, less than, or equal to make the statement true. So if we took this and colored that shape in, that's how much shape, the shape you would need for it to be the same size. So does that mean that this is equal? Does this mean that this is greater? Or does that mean that this is less than that one? Remember, the opening always goes towards the larger number. So whichever one's the larger number. Okay, so how many inches long is the leaf? So drawing it down. I can see there's a whole number and a whole number, and it's in the middle of those whole numbers. So you're going to have a whole number and a fraction for how much that would be. On number 5, there are 2 things that you need to answer. First, we need to divide the rectangle into thirds. The second one is we need to label each third with a fraction. Okay, so you're going to be dividing this piece up. You can go up and down or across this way, but you need to label each piece of the fraction. All right, true or false? The fractions 2/6 and 2/8 are equal. So if you laid this over the top of that, would that be equal? True or false? All right, so we have a number line, and we're going to do number 7 and 8 using this same number line. We're between 0 and 1. We're going to count how many spaces there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have to mark where 3/8 is. So not only are you supposed to put a little dot on the number line where 3/8 is, you need to write the fraction, this fraction underneath it. We need to mark where 1/8 is, and we need to write the fraction under it on this number line here. And then on number 9, we're going to divide. The opposite of dividing is multiplying. So 25 divided by 5 is blank, or blank times 5 equals 25. And you can skip count by 5s on that one. 24 divided by 6 equals blank, or blank times 6 is 24. So you can draw a picture, you can do tally marks, you can skip count by 6, whatever would help that should be easiest. And then 5 times 7 is what? So you can skip count by 5, you can skip count by 7. And then on number 10, show 2 ways, we need 2 ways to solve this problem. So remember how we can put parentheses around and then answer them, or we can put parentheses around another part of it. And so that gives you 2 different ways of doing it. The answers to both need to be the same answer to show that that is the way, the correct way to answer that. Okay, let's rotate this guy around. And this one also has a star by it, so this one needs to be scanned or emailed to me. And so this one we're going to be labeling whether it's simple or compound. And you can do an S or a C on here. So I will go ahead and read these, and then you can just decide if you're going to write an S or a C under each one. Chloe is in my reading and math group. Chloe is in my reading and math group. I love to write stories, but I don't like typing them. I love to write stories, but I don't like typing them. It is sunny out, so I decided to take a walk. It is sunny out, so I decided to take a walk. Number 4, he has 1 brother and 3 sisters. He has 1 brother and 3 sisters. Number 5, I packed shirts, shorts, and pants for the trip. I packed shirts, shorts, and pants for the trip. Number 6, Mason is in the choir. He plays in the band. Mason is in the choir, and he plays in the band. Here you go, Mason. Your name's in one of the problems today. Mason is in the choir, and he plays in the band. Number 7, Toby, my puppy, has brown spots. Toby, my puppy, has brown spots. Okay. Number 8 says, I want to try out for baseball, but I have to practice first. I want to try out for baseball, but I have to practice first. Number 9, my new shoes hurt my feet and toes. My new shoes hurt my feet and my toes. And number 10, our class is large, so we have to share the computers. Our class is large, so we have to share the computers. So there's some clues in there to help you see which ones are compound and which ones are simple. All right, so here's that page I need back. So I needed these last 3 pages, math for today, your sentences test, and this sheet with everything marked off that you have finished. So I just need those 4 pages back. So please help your parents get those emailed back to me as soon as you are finished. I have to have those turned in to me by Sunday night so I can make sure that everybody got their work done. And now let's go back to our Envision lesson. So if you wanted to do your tests first, you could do your tests first and then come back and watch the rest of the video if you had wanted to. All right, so let's go ahead and get started on our Envision lesson 12.6.
How can you make and use line plots? Think about this question during the lesson. Anna is measuring the length of her crayons. How can she use a ruler to measure to the nearest 4th inch? The distance between each whole number on this ruler is 1 inch. Each blue mark shows 1/4 inch. So each whole inch is divided into 4 1/4 inches. Line up one end of the object with 0. The 10th 1/4 inch mark is closest to the right end of the crayon. So, to the nearest 4th inch, the crayon measures 10/4 inches. What is another way to write 10/4 inches? Select your answer.
So, because we've gone past the whole number of 1 and past the whole number of 2, we have a little bit more on here. So, would this look more like 1 2/4, 2 1/4, 2 2/4, or 10 1/4? So, thinking about that. So, we look at whole numbers 1, 2, and then we can count 1, 2 is where that one is. So I believe it is 2 2/4.
This is 2 whole inches and 2 1/4 inches. You can write this as 2 2/4 inches. Anna measured her other 9 crayons. She then recorded the data in a line plot.
A line plot is a way to organize data on a number line.
Excuse me. So I remember that we talked about this. We did this example on the board in our classroom. So when you see this, it probably will look pretty familiar.
Steps to make a line plot. First, draw a number line. Show a scale based on the data. Next, write a title for the line plot. Finally, mark a dot for each data value.
All right, so we're going to try it.
Select a length on the line plot to explore the data.
Okay, so if I select this spot,
Anna has 2 crayons that are 2 inches long. Anna has 1 crayon that is 1 3/4 inches long.
So remember, she measured 9 crayons, and so they had different lengths. And then she took that information and recorded how many of each one that she had.
Anna has 2 crayons that are 2 1/4 inches long. Anna has 1 crayon that is 2 2/4 inches long. Anna has 4 crayons that are 2 3/4 inches long. Which crayon length does Anna have the most of? Explain.
So looking at this one, which one does she have the most of? So you're probably going to see 2 3/4. She has 4 crayons that are that long. So that one is the most that she has.
She has the most of the 2 3/4 inch crayon. There are 4 dots above the 2 3/4 inch mark on the number line, more than there are for any other crayon. Now you know how you can make and use line plots.
All right, let's go to Convince Me.
Nathan also made a line plot to show the lengths of his crayons. Tell 3 things about the lengths of Nathan's crayons.
Okay, so Nathan has a lot more crayons, maybe a big box of crayons. So what are some things that we could say about this? So I'm going to go back over to our page since I can't mark on that one over there. So 3 things that we could say. So one thing, what's one thing we could say? So Nathan has the most crayons that are 2 1/4 inches long. Number 2, Nathan has only 1 crayon that is 1 inch long. And what's something else we could say? Let's see here. Nathan has 4 different lengths that all have 3 crayons each. If you notice here, we've got 3 crayons, 3 crayons, 3, 3, and 3. So he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He has 5 that are actually that long. So we're going to change that to make that correct. So there's 3 things that you could say about the crayons that he has. So you can copy that down. And you can pause this so that you can finish writing that in. And then we're going to go to page 641. And looking at number 1, it says, measure the length of this line to the nearest 4th inch. So I have a ruler, and you can put this on your paper. I'm going to make sure to have it on the inch side, which is the bigger side. And when I hold it up, it looks like mine is about 3 inches long. All right. Let me go real close and see if I can measure to the 4th inch. And it does look like it is 3 1/4 inches long. Okay. All right. Number 2 says, describe how you would show this measurement on a line plot. I could use this measurement on, let me go back and spell that correctly, on a line plot by marking a spot at 3 1/4 inches. Okay. Remember, you can always pause it if you need to. And then number 3 says, draw a line plot to show the data. So here are apparently my pencils. We're using my name today. So if we're going to make a line, make it as straight as I can get it. We're going to make our little arrow here because it keeps going on. And then this is going to be, we've got 3/4, so I could mark 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Under this spot here, we're going to number that as 3. Under this spot here, we're going to number that 3 1/4. Let's see, maybe if I get that a little wider this way so it can all be together. Nope. Okay. This spot here is going to be 3 1/2. And this spot here is going to be 3 and let me see, I'm going to change this one here. 3 2/4 is what it should be. And this one here is going to be 3 3/4. Oopsie. Sorry about that. We'll just start over on this one. Okay, we'll draw another one. 3 3/4 here. And let's do one more. This one here is going to be 4. Okay. So if we're going to plot these lengths on here, we're going to need to do a dot above. Let me see if I could change my color. I'm going to pick a red color. Okay. So 3 1/4. So I can put a dot there. Okay. 3 3/4. So I can put a dot here. 3 1/4. So I can put a dot here. 4 and 3 2/4. Now the other thing, when you have a lot of these numbers, sometimes when you plot it, then you can just cross it off so you know you've used it. So we've used all of these. That means we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Measure your pencil to the nearest 1/4 inch. So whatever pencil you have, measure it to the nearest 1/4 inch. So I have one that is 4. Okay, the closest spot to it for mine is 4 1/4 inches. Okay. So remember, you can pause this so you can look at this part. Let's go ahead and do at least number 5 together, and then you can do number 6. You can measure the dinosaurs and use that. So it says, Daisy measured the lengths of her toy dinosaurs to the nearest 1/4 inch. She listed the lengths. Make a line plot to show the data. All right, so we're going to make a line plot right here. All right, and we've got 1 2/4, 2 1/4, 1 inch. So our smallest one is 1. Then we have a 1 2/4, a 1 3/4, and a 2. Okay. So that can be 1. This can be, what's the next? 1 2/4 is the same as 1 1/2. Okay. And then we're going to do 1 3/4. And we're going to do 2 1/4. All right, so I believe we have everything there, but as we plot these, we'll see them on our line. Okay, 1 at 1 2/4. So we have 1 2/4. We're going to put 1 dinosaur spot there. I'm going to cross that off because I did it. 1 at 2 1/4. So put one right here. We're going to cross that off. 1 at 1 inch. Cross that off. 1 at 1 2/4. Cross that off. And 1 at 1 3/4. Cross that off. Okay, so the next one says, measure the lengths of the toy dinosaurs at the right to the nearest 1/4 inch. Write the length for each toy. Show the lengths on your line plot. All right, so if I take my ruler and I get up close here, my measurement shows that this guy is 1 inch. So I'm going to put a dot. Whoopsie, not there. Go over here. I'm going to put 1 at this spot. Oh, there was already 1 there. I'm going to put another 1 there. Okay, because there was 1 here. So I've got that guy done. And now this one is 2 3/4 as far as I can see. So I need to add another line on here and mark it as 2 3/4. And I'm going to mark it with a red dot. All right. Let's go to the next page. It says, Artie made a line plot to show the inches different snails crawled in a 5-minute race. So he had a bunch of little snails and they were racing each other and he measured how far they went. What was the most common distance that the snails crawled? So here are all the distances. How can we tell which one most of the snails or the most number of snails did? So we can look and see, we should be able to see here. That one has quite a few. So what we can write in this space here, 9 1/4 inches was the most common. Okay. Number 8 says, how many more times did snails crawl more than 8 3/4 inches compared to less than 8 3/4 inches? So what they're asking us to do is find this spot right here. Okay, and so we're going to add up how many we had on this side. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So we had 9 on this side. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 on this side. Did I get that correct? You can let me know if I did that one wrong. But now it says how many more times. That means we're going to be subtracting. So we're going to be subtracting 19 minus 9 would equal 10 more snails. Crawled 8 3/4 or more inches. All right, there you go. All right, on number 9, measure the lengths of 10 classroom objects to the nearest fourth inch. Choose objects that are between 1 and 5 inches long. Record your measurements. So you're not in the classroom, so pick some things at home. Measure 10 things, write it on a piece of paper. So for instance, if you're measuring a spoon, measure how long that is and write spoon and how many inches is that? 4 3/4 inches long or something. And then maybe measure your TV remote or a calculator or a toy car, but make sure that you write like car and how many inches, and a toothbrush and how many inches, and a post-it note and how many inches, a playing card and how many inches. But just find 10 things that you can measure, and then you're going to draw a line. So it says on grid paper, draw a line to plot to show your data. So these two kind of go together. I don't have a grid paper to show, so I'm just going to make my line here. And then I'm going to look at all the measurements. So if you've written down a bunch of measurements on the side, what is the smallest one? And you'll write that one first. And then count how many you're going to have to do. Like, okay, you found a bunch that are 3 1/4, and a bunch that are 2 1/2 or 2 2/4. And so we have, like, say you have 6 different lengths, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different lengths. You're going to put down how big those are to the nearest ½ inch. So this is what mine is because I'm just making this one up for myself. Okay, so then you're going to put your little plot up here to show what you have found. So whatever your data is on there. Number 11 says Jackson bought 5 books that cost $7 each. How much change did he get from $40? So first of all, 5 books times $7 each would cost us $35. And if we have $40, and we take away the $35 we spent, how much do we have left? We have $5 left. On number 12, use the digits 2, 6, and 8 to make as many 3-digit numbers as you can. Put the numbers in order from least to greatest. So you're going to be wanting to, make a list here or on the side somewhere of the numbers that you could do. So make as many numbers as you could do. I could do 268 first, and I could do 286, and I could do 628, and I can do 682, and I could do 826, and I could do 868. Are there any others I could do? All right, so 268. Oh, this one's wrong up here. 268 and 862, and 286 and 826, 682 and 628. So now you're going to put them from the greatest to the least, or the least to the greatest. So you're going to take your smallest number, which is 268, comma, 286, comma, 628, 682, 826. So I actually was lucky enough that I wrote these down from least to greatest already. All right. All right, we're on to the last one. So Tanya is making headbands. She recorded lengths of different bows that she bought. So it says each dot on the line plot represents a different bow Tanya bought. Which lengths did Tanya buy the most of? Choose all that apply. Okay, so we see these two are obviously the longest, and they're the exact same one. So we are going to go look. Did we get a lot on 1 inch? No. Did we get a lot on 1/4? No. Did we get a lot on 1 2/4? Yes. How about 1 3/4? Yes. How about 2 inches? No. All right, so you're going to use that page to do your homework page and practice on that, and you are going to do a great job. This one looks a lot of fun. Number 5, make a line plot. So you're going to draw your big line, and you're going to make, from your smallest number to your largest number, and then you'll put your dots to see. Don't forget that as you put them down, cross them off. If you put a little dot, cross it off. Put it when you mark it down. All right, so that is the end of your homework on that. So to remind you, at the very top, I just need these things returned to me. Math for Today test, the simple and compound sentences test, and the daily checkoff sheet. So the daily checkoff sheet was in the Monday packet, but I also included it here at the bottom of so there's our Math for Today, there's our sentences, and I included it here at the bottom just in case. So you'll have all 4 pages that just those 4 pages need to come back to me. If you did any of the writing assignments that you wanted to share for 5 points of extra credit for each one, you can also send those. You can send them separately, or you can send them all together. You can send them in this email. Any of those things. If you haven't turned in your March reading minutes, please email me the amount of time that you read for the month of March. And a reminder that if you're doing the Roaring Springs Reader Program, I need to have that sheet sent back to me by Monday, the 13th. So make sure that you've got it filled out with all the books that you've done and how much time you've read, and parent signature and your name on the paper, and then send that to me. All right, guys, if you have any questions, let me know. And I'm sorry some of you had trouble with YouTube yesterday. I'm just going to send it the old way that I had been sending it, and in YouTube, so people can use whichever one works best for them. And I will do a read aloud and include that too. All right, guys, nice job. And if you got all of your work done, you get a 4-day weekend. If you haven't gotten your work done, that's okay. You can spread it out over the 4-day weekend if you need to. So just the most important thing is that we keep learning and we keep getting our stuff turned in, so that I can give you credit for that, to show that you have completed all of your 3rd grade work by the end of the year. All right, guys, I will talk to you in our read aloud.